What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Meran podcast. Today, my guest is none other than the legend himself, Henrik Harlaut. The man needs no introduction, but let's still go ahead. In his career, Henrik has won 13 X Games medals, including 8 gold. And he's got podium results at pretty much every major competition there has been in the last 15 years. On the video side, Henrik has created one of the most influential web series of all time, being the B&E show with his good friend Phil Casabon. He's cumulated multiple legendary movie segments with companies such as 4x9 Media, Level 1 Productions, Field Productions, and many more. He's also done a lot of self-produced movies like 2014's Road to Zion, 2018's The Regiment, and 2020's Salute. Henrik is one of the GOATs of free skiing, and it was a pleasure to chat with him. In this second part of our discussion, we talk about more and more skiers staying relevant in the industry in their 30s. We also talk about Henrik getting his first shot at filming with a production company with 4x9 Media back in the days, starting Harlaut Apparel, his own clothing brand, producing their first team movie, One, in 2021, and also working on a new team movie in 2022 in which he filmed some of his best shots ever. Also, be on the lookout during the episode as we've got a really cool contest going on with Access Board Shop where you can win a free pair of 2023 Armada Idolo skis. As I've been telling you, Access Board Shop is the dopest shop in skiing. So how to enter the contest? It's pretty simple. First off, I'll be saying a special code during the episode that you got to spot. Once you've spotted that special code, go to accessboutique.com/Meran podcast and enter there. The winner will be announced October 31st. Big thank you to this episode's sponsors, Access Board Shop, Planks Clothing, and Adrenaline Urbaine. Also, big shout out to the patrons on Patreon, Will Cameron and Raf Diaz. Let's go.
Body wise and everything, mentally and everything, I feel like I'm still getting better and better all the time. So hopefully if it keeps going like this, I don't see a reason why I wouldn't be able to get myself in there.
Yeah, because I think I mentioned that a lot in the podcast, but your generation of skiers is really impressive to me as to how you keep not only staying great as you get older, but it seems you get almost better. Like you and Phil, and Tanner is still going, and he's kind of in another generation, but your generation especially, where you're 30, but you don't look like the 30-year-olds when we were young.
No, for sure. And that's, I think, give thanks to people like Tanner and Candide and all those guys too that have because probably when we grew up, the oldest people that were competing were 22 to 25 or something like that. But they just been keep going and going and going. So they racing the bar. So I never really have to be the oldest. So I give thanks for that. They inspire me so much by showing how much they can progress and how motivated they are always. But exactly like you say, it's more just crazy to me that I am 30 now and I feel exactly the same as I did when I was 22 in Sochi.
But it's crazy how you got known. You were maybe 16 around then.
Yeah.
And you 16. Kind of always that kind of young gun, young Henrik. How does it feel now that I kind of still see you that way, even though we got older? How does it feel now that you're the eldest almost? You were probably one of the eldest with maybe Woodsy?
Yeah, I'm 1 year older than Woodsy even.
Yeah.
Or half a year, but he's born in 92 and me 91. But yeah, I agree so much that. And it kind of happened fast, it felt in a way, because I was definitely the young kid coming up always, and was always together with Phil, who is 2 years older than me, and with Tanner, who is 8 years older. So I felt I was always the little bro. And then, you say, all of a sudden, what? I'm 30 now? I still feel so young. And but I think it's just because I'm so zoned into this whole skiing thing that it's just season after season rather than like really aging. Like
Right.
everything feels you do the same thing, but you just get like smarter and like taking care of your body a little bit better and yeah, eating better and like yeah, all this stuff.
It's not as if your results have diminished. Like you were getting big results back then and you're still getting it now, so it's not as if things changed at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I still remember like maybe was it '07, '08, like Tanner at IF3 giving a big speech and saying like, "Yo, I went to New Zealand with this kid Henrik Harlaut. Watch out, he's going to be the future." And anyone who was into like new schoolers knew of you already. Like we saw you, but I was like, "Okay, Tanner is preaching. Let's go."
Yo, that was like a huge moment for me too. I remember so much because I guess yeah, it was the year of Slamina in 2008,
Yeah.
and yeah, I won best amateur of the year that year, and then Tanner exactly was going up on stage to accept his best pro athlete of the year, and
Mm.
then he just flipped it and he was like, "No, I don't deserve this one. Henrik Harlaut did, and yeah, I was down in New Zealand and I see what this kid can do, and he is the skier of the year." And I remember I was in Sweden with my friends, and we were up late at night and like watching the live stream, and I was like, could not believe it, like crying basically, and he was like my one of my very biggest idols going up on stage and like preaching about me being good, and it was so insane. And just like with that whole the outcome too, or the response of that Slamina segment with 4x9 was like so incredible because yeah, I hadn't really, that was like my breakthrough in a way.
Yeah.
Like that was like when I like had done pretty good competition results and like did some edits and stuff like that, but that was like what put me like on the stage or like the platform where people was like, all right, this dude can do like streets, backcountry, and like
Yeah. I think people already knew you with those edits, but that was your first real official segment.
yeah, because that's like what you needed. Like back in the day, it was like if you wanna, yeah,
And that segment slapped. Like people can go watch it on YouTube. It still holds up, I think.
yeah, I'm happy, I'm proud of it for sure. Big shout out to the whole 4x9 crew for letting me tag along with them that year because that was like the year after Tom Wallish won Super Unknown in '07, and they dropped all the like super edits, hyphy edits, Toto edit, and like all these like super like 4x9 to me was like the illest ever. And then I like reached out to them basically and was like, "Yo, I wanna I wanna film with you guys. Like, could I tag along with you guys?" And then yeah, I met them all at Aspen Open, and then got to drive back to Salt Lake together with Wallish and spend some time with him, sleeping on the couch at the 4x9 house, and just going out every night, every day, and grinding.
Yeah, you got some great segments with them for a couple of years at that point.
Yeah, yeah, it was super awesome.
Your brother also had shots in those movies, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that was dope.
But that like 4x9, the Slamina segment, not to go like too much back in time, but that like 4x9 segment like was definitely like what like boosted my whole career because the next season after that, yeah, I had the closing segment with 4x9, So Far So Hood. I had my first segment with Level 1. I was like in Matchstick, had a segment. I was in Poor Boys,
Were you also in Field, maybe?
Field Productions, yeah,
Yeah.
another like two European movies, Rage Films, and I ended up winning European Open, Aspen Open, like Monster Park Invitational, and like a bunch of rail jams. It was like, but that segment with 4x9 was the reason, and Tanner going up on stage probably, and like me hearing it, and was like, all right, let's go. There's no turning back now. Let's just like push the pedal to the floor and go.
I'm watching it right now, that segment. Like I think of the segment in my mind and I'll already hear boom, clap, clap, boom, clap.
Everybody get your hands up.
Yeah, it's a classic with the G suit. Like
Yeah,
you can't get better than that.
for real. G suits and ninth words.
Yeah.
That was great.
Oh man, and those New Zealand shots, switch 14, perfect.
Yeah,
Uh
thank you.
yeah, those edits were insane. I think you did a couple ones with Tanner that summer.
Yeah, so good times.
And now it's time for a first sponsor break. Adrenaline Urbaine recently opened their new Action Sports Center in Trois-Rivières, Quebec. The center is unique as it offers a variety of action sports on the inside. It has an indoor skate park, rock climbing, and a Ninja Warrior style section. The cherry on top, it has a snow park on the rooftop that is open year round. Adrenaline Urbaine is perfect for both beginner or experienced riders. You can go and ride on your own or get private coaching for the sport of your choice. Its location in Trois-Rivières is perfect as it's only an hour away from both Montreal and Quebec City. It's also around 2 hours from the American border. Adrenaline Urbaine opened the dream center for every action sports enthusiast, and it's so dope to have it here in Quebec. Check them out online at adrenalineurbaine.ca or in person at their center in Trois-Rivières, District 55. Support companies who support skiing. Support Adrenaline Urbaine. So yeah, maybe we can branch off into movies. Well, might as well. You, as you just said, you were super productive with movies. You filmed with everyone. You had kind of um, an insanely productive couple of years. Like you and Wallish had segments in, as you said, 4x9, level one, field, and others in between.
Yeah,
Then you went on to do B&E with Phil, which was the most popular web series there is, maybe with Traveling Circus, but in your own right, super influential. You
thank
you
you.
uh, made a lot of Spotify money for Wu Tang with
Yes,
all the
sir.
kids listening to it. Then after that, the inspired movies.
Yup,
Then some solo projects, and
correct.
then recently you started doing team movies with your brand Harlow.
Yeah,
Tell me about that. How did that come about? Maybe also the brand in itself, however you want to approach it, but maybe the brand first, because you're someone in my mind that could have started it years before that
yeah,
with your influence. Like when you guys were repping Inspired, like everyone was wearing it, and it was a lot to do with you. Yeah, tell me about that. The whole Harlow thing. First off, congrats, because it seems to be doing super well.
yeah. No, it's been like a super fun adventure and a cool route that kind of came a little bit unexpected in a way. Like you said, like definitely I thought I had in a way like almost missed my shot of making a clothing brand because yeah, me and Phil had so big influence. He had like obviously like with his Orash suit that one year that was like insane, and me together with Tanner and Phil and Iberg and everybody with Inspired too. We had like the whole movement going like crazy. But then I was just like without clothing sponsor for a few years. We were gonna do like this one thing together with Raekwon, but it didn't ended up working too well. The investors together with Raekwon didn't get along, so that didn't go anywhere really, unfortunately. But then I was just riding with whatever I wanted to because I felt like just the way you feel on your skis and the way you look has so big importance to the way you're gonna ski, for me at least. So then I was like more satisfied with like buying clothes that I thought was nice looking rather than get a better paycheck or get some extra money.
Hmm.
But then just like kind of like out of the blue, like just started with like me and my brother was like, let's just start creating our own gear because might as well. And then yeah, one thing led to another. Like we started like with super small collection with more street gear, and then after one year it was like jackets, and then people were super hyped. So then we're like, let's get jacket and pants, and then let's make a team and like just make the dream kind of brand that I always wanted to be a part of. And like yeah, it wasn't like right now it's so much in skiing like so result focused on like the way you are getting to be on a team, where I wanted to like have more like maybe the riders that I think are influential, that maybe doesn't always stand on top of the podium, but like that are unique and have so much personality and like ski with the type of style, or like are very style orientated,
Hmm.
and to be able to like help them too, because the other companies doesn't help them because they doesn't do the result maybe. So like for me, they are so important for the culture and for skiing in general. So then I want to help them as much as I can. Yeah, that's kind of how it's been going, and it's been so sick, the response from the people too with the brand. Like just help, everybody is like supporting, and we see it like when going to resorts all over the world these days. It's crazy like how many people that actually reps it and like are hyped on it. And I think it's just because it's like gears that's made for skiers, or like freestyle skiers, like maybe not like super functional, like the best like Gore-Tex crazy like technical aspects, but it's like feels good, looks good, and it's cheaper than other stuff,
Yeah.
and like carries a vibe to it too, that like a lot of skateboarders and their brands are doing as well.
Hmm.
So it's inspired by that too.
Well, I think that's somewhere where you fit well. Well, maybe it wasn't thought out necessarily, but it fits well. Is that a lot of times with outerwear brands, they sell you something with which you can like climb the Everest
Yeah.
in terms of functionality and all of that. But you're like, does the kid who skis park in Michigan need that? Not really. Or does he
No,
even want it? Not really. So,
exactly. And the way it looks is not really what I want to wear.
mhm,
And it has been like so sick too, because I remember I had some clothing sponsors that were approaching me right around that time, and like definitely wanted to give me a pretty big paycheck. But I was like so much like always with them like, all right, let me do the line because I want to do it the way I see it. And they're like, nah, all these like baggy bigger clothes, people don't want that stuff. And I was like, okay, then I just do it myself, kind of. And then
yeah.
now I see all these brands that like approach me like starting to like get on that, and I'm like, yeah, I told you. But even more than that too, like I am so happy. Maybe I haven't like, I would have gotten more money or whatever like that stuff if I would have signed with the other guys, but just for creating something that has had so much of an impact to the culture and the industry, that's like beyond any paycheck that I have gotten from any brand ever.
Mm,
And to be able to like support all these other skiers and like help promote them and like make them so they get a career out of it because they are so deserving of it. And that's kind of like how we came about with the movie for last year. It was not so planned out before. We were like more because we knew that we were going to be on our own little bit and not be able to be together too much.
mhm,
So I was like saying like just film whatever you want, and we probably just gonna do segment divided personal segment in the movies. And yeah, we all decide at the end, but like we edit it ourselves together with the crew. But you can put in anything in there, like anything from street to competition to backcountry to
mhm,
park stuff, film with an iPhone. I was like telling everybody to be like have it super open, but let's just make a movie to get started on something that we can like build from. And like because it's so much that like you just gotta start committing to doing these ideas. And yeah, I'm like a huge fan still of full length movies,
yeah,
and I love them too. I love Instagram and love edits and all that stuff, but movies I has like a special place in my heart. Maybe also because of like how much of an impact my 4x9 segment had to my career, and then I want to like pass that on to all these guys that haven't got to experience that with full length yet.
yeah,
So the first one was basically just, yeah, one was like a try, and like let's just get started. We have like too ill of a team to not do it, kind of.
yeah.
And then this year we've been filming a bit more together, and I think we definitely stepped up. Like what I've seen from the other guys is so sick. They all skied so good, and yeah, I'm so proud of them all. Like the way they are growing into their own personality, their own skier, and like their spot selection, their trick choices. I think they are the illest, and
That's
it
dope.
motivates and inspires me like crazy. So after Olympics, I didn't really do any events and like went straight to the streets of Finland and did a month and a half there. And I think I gotten like some of the shots that I'm most proud of ever in the streets. I think
Damn.
like everybody can always like argue like and like have a different opinion, of course, but like for myself, I thought I felt really good skiing, where I like let go of a lot of things and was like more free because I wasn't like trying to stay healthy for the next event or like Olympics or a lot of like
You
uh,
got the job done at the Olympics and the mind was clear.
yeah, it was clear and it was just like let's just go style with all these homies that I got and
Let's
like
go.
try and always had like in mind every time going into the spot kind of like what would Mikkel and Phil and Tanner want to see me do? Like, what is the illest that they would want me to do?
Yeah.
And then, like, sometimes, like for sure, like doing like technical tricks and all that too, but like always like making sure that like it was ill and like have a like cool vision to the spot and like yeah, I don't know. I just felt super good and together with the everybody on the team, the vibe, every everybody stayed healthy too. We didn't get kicked out at a lot at all, even, and like hit a bunch of fresh hit some spots that other people have hit. But yeah, just like a super nice atmosphere in the whole crew where we wasn't like there was like no, yeah, I don't know. Everything was just good and positive. No jealousy, no envy, and no you can't do that, you have to do it this way, or like not following maybe even the rules of like street with some things, like just like bending the rules a little bit and like
Yeah.
but in a cool way. I think yeah, I can't say too much, but yeah.
Looking forward to that. And now it's time for another sponsor break. If you listen to this podcast, you know Access Board Shop is the dopest shop in skiing. They support athletes, movies, events, and a bunch of other stuff related to skiing and snowboarding. I've been to their shop recently and they're ready for ski season. They've received all the new skis, boots, outerwear, and every other thing you'll need for this season. So if you're in Quebec, go check out Access Boutique in Saint Sauveur, or you can check them out online at accessboutique.ca. So now's the time to get the special code for the Access contest to win a 2023 pair of Armada Idolo skis. The code is NOSEBUTTER. So if you want to get a chance to win a pair of skis, go to accessboutique.com/Meranpodcast and enter the code NOSEBUTTER. Support companies that support skiing. Support Access Board Shop. We were trying to get the episode done, and you were like, "Yo, I'm on a street trip." And then I think we tried it again, and you were like, "Yo, I'm on another trip." I think you went to Rick's Grandson.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you got your season going for a while.
yeah, pretty long. Like Rick Scranton, I usually go up there for like a month and try stack like crazy, and this year maybe that was like a little definitely a lot more chill than I had before, because I was like a little bit started to get a little bit more sore in my knee towards that part, and I was just super happy with the season that I had already with the competitions, getting a medal at Olympics, and then basically producing my best street part I think I ever have
That's quite a statement,
for myself, at least. Yeah. Well, it's hard. Like it's easy for me to always be like, yeah, this was my best shit for sure, but I think personally, like this one for me, I feel I'm super happy with.
though.
Other people may don't have to agree with it, but I'm happy with it. Super happy, and especially like, yeah,
Well, it's been a while since we've seen a full part from you, because In Salute, there was Street from You, but it wasn't a full segment. It was kind of with other people.
Yeah,
And then before then, the X Games Real Ski is kind of hard to judge because it's such a short time constraint.
for
And
sure.
then before that, you had Be Inspired, where when you got hurt, and it was also like mixed in with Phil.
Yeah,
So
the Almighty.
yeah,
So now, but exactly, and then yeah, it was just super good. But then going up to Riksgränsen, I just wanted to more go up there and like almost like same as like after the Olympics, like digest it a little bit more and like celebrate a super good season. Like we still went out and got some good shots, but I also like wanted to just be up there sleeping in a tent for like 2 weeks and like outdoor camping, living with the guys and just enjoy and finish the season in a good way, feeling healthy and going into the summer, not having to recover from anything, just like feeling good towards the end and like get ready for another year. Because I know next year, like I've been saying, I want to try push it far as filming. So I want to make sure that I went into this summer without having to rehab or recover anything particular.
that's dope. You mentioned, you did everything that can be done in terms of a way of approaching a film.
Mm-hmm.
You did almost every kind of approach you can do. Like you filmed with a company like Level One. You did your self-produced projects like the inspired movies. You did your team movies with your brand. You did movies with Step, like Step helping you produce maybe.
Mm-hmm.
What's the vision for next year? Is it going to be a Harlow movie again or a solo movie?
No, it's I think gonna be a Harlow apparel movie,
Right.
and the plan is to hopefully like stay together with the team pretty much the whole season and just like get the whole vibe, the whole squad, and make like a full length from the whole season. But then we also been talking about doing a bit more like webisode style.
Hmm.
We haven't like decided exactly how they're gonna be. If it's gonna be maybe like more behind the scenes, what's happening, or if it's gonna be like half action, half like lifestyle, and like. But
Yeah.
definitely want to do. I just want to show how much we work
Hmm.
and like how much you can work as a film skier as well, because that's like my dream as well, because I think unfortunately it's been a lot of cases with people that do compete and are so motivated and push it super far, and then they're like, all right, I'm gonna go film, and then maybe get a little bit lazy, or they think that film skiing is easier than competition skiing, which is not, I don't think, or you have to work as hard at least for
Hmm.
filming. But I just want to show that like you can go to filming and be at least as relevant as you are when competing, if not even more, because you can produce even more stuff and like be like showing just like how much actually we work and how much we ski. And
Yeah.
yeah, definitely thought about some different cool edit types ideas that we will do on YouTube, but then also we'll do like a full length from the whole season as well.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah. You did a couple ones in the past, a day in the life edit
Yeah,
where we followed you. I think some recent one was maybe in China
yeah,
or
exactly.
anyways, some day in the life where when we follow you, maybe that could be cool in the streets, like
For
showing
sure.
the vibe. We did that.
Exactly.
I was a part of that back in the days for a Salomon free ski episode,
Yeah,
and that was dope. Like it was showing skiing in 24 hours, like following Abma in the BC, Bobby at X Games, and then we were filming with Sebis in the street and kind of showing like all that can happen
yeah.
and the behind the scenes kind of.
No, for sure. Exactly. That's exactly the goal. Because I want, yeah, we just want to showcase like how it works, which has been shown before, but I never got to show it. And also like maybe be like, yeah, maybe show some of the clips and like just show the like process of it a
Hmm.
bit like un peu particular with Phil, like maybe a bit like inspired from that with some episodes, and maybe like not at all like that in another episode, but just just show a little bit more what how it goes down. And like you did with Belmar too.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, it was so sick.
Thanks. Well, that was a goal. And again, inspired by Brady and Phil, what they did is back in the days, there used to be, and I was a victim of that also as a filmer, is you get so much content that is dope or that gives you insight, but it's kind of lost because you don't use it all for the segment. It's
Right.
just the banger shot. And then it was dope seeing what Phil and Brady did, where you show everything that can be shown that is just sitting in your hard drive of
Yeah.
like encounters and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the thing that I tried to put in, showcase that like Alex doesn't only land bangers. Sometimes he's pissed, and sometimes things doesn't go our way, or
Right.
the whole process. But I think that's something cool that you can showcase also.
Yeah,
That aside from getting your dope shots, that whatever happened during the process.
for sure. And that way too, like I feel like it can be so nice because then you don't have to be so strict with yourself that like everything has to be a banger, you know? Like you can just go out and like shred in the streets, like something that's fun to shred and that be perfect for like just on YouTube. That isn't like in your segment that's gonna show the best of your skiing ever.
Hmm. And now it's time for another sponsor break. Planks Clothing is a super dope brand that I'm proud to have as a sponsor. Planks Clothing has been making rad ski gear for rad humans since 2009. If you need some new outerwear for this coming season, go check them out at planksclothing.com. Their products are super stylish, top quality, and are at an affordable price. Last season, I was filming and skiing with the man's Good Time insulated jacket, and I was super good all year round in the winter of Quebec. Support companies that support skiing, support Planks Clothing. Stuff that back in the day would have been maybe a cool DVD bonus, but that
Yeah,
now fits perfectly on YouTube.
yeah, exactly. And I feel like that too with like because I've been always like so much with the competition side where I don't want to necessarily show what I'm working on, or like if I have like cool tricks and like new tricks, maybe I'm like, maybe I'm gonna like keep this one because I want to do it at a event.
Yeah, keep the surprise.
Yeah. But then this now I think I want to be able to like show it a little bit more where I'm like not as afraid, like because there are so many tricks that I have done that I never even did in competitions that are now like 5 6 years old, and you're like, fuck, I like probably should have just like put it out when it was like relevant.
Like some competition tricks or street tricks.
More competition tricks like jump tricks. I'm saying more now, but I feel like I do that in the park too with like on rails where I like figure out like a cool new rail trick where I'm like, maybe I'm gonna like hold on to this one and like bring it out. Yeah. At like either slopestyle event or if I would get like real street
Yeah.
opportunity again or something like that. But now I think I'm gonna hopefully challenge myself to like try release a little bit more and just showcase because I think people are stoked on it.
Yeah, well, definitely. People are always looking. You and Phil, people are always looking forward to what you're gonna share. And plus, you're not the type that posts too much on social. It's always like once in a while, and it's something special.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that just comes from what I want to see. I hate when you get too much and it's like not, or it's awesome if it's so much but it's all quality,
Yeah.
and like but when you compromise the quality just to like have a lot of content, that's
Hmm.
when it's like it's not worth it for me. And that's why I like, but sometimes I'm like always too like I'm exactly like what I was saying, like I wish like I need to get like a little bit better at it as well because I do have like some stuff that I'm like super happy and proud of, but I'm like sometimes like almost like scared that it's not gonna get received as good as it means to me.
Yeah, I
Like
feel
I
you.
have this like one line from 2 years ago up in Riksgränsen that's like a backcountry line, but like doing like tricks that like super big tricks.
Hmm.
That's like for sure the most technical line I ever done, but I still never released it.
Mm.
And it's because it's like, for me, it's like, so it was, yeah, I don't know.
But what I think is cool for these types of thing is like, if let's say you post it, but you tell us the story in the caption to help us understand your perspective, like not just dope line from 2 years ago.
Yeah,
That you take the time to write like at least 200 words, like tell us what's behind that shot.
yeah,
I think that's dope when you have that kind of the story behind it with it.
yeah. No, for sure. And I even like made it so it's like, because I have like some, I had a GoPro on my head and I did some GoPro whatever behind the scenes at the top before dropping in. So I made like a little YouTube version of it too. But then always like this one is cool to me, but maybe not to others, and maybe it's not gonna get
Well,
received. And
I think if it's cool to you, it's gonna be cool to people because
yeah,
it's worked.
exactly.
It's always worked so far. I think.
No, that's what I'm getting at. It's like I just gonna try to like let go of that, like I don't know what it is, that block of like having to be like a certain level.
Mm, is it more like it's not necessarily about the results of the video? It's more the potential, not hate, but the potential negative reception. Let's say.
Yeah, I think so. I don't even know how or why with some of the stuff, because some of the stuff is like I'm super hyped on, and I'm sure like when I've showed friends and stuff, they are hyped on it too.
Yeah. You just need a friend with you with the button, and he says like, "Are you? Do you like it?" And then when you say yes, he says, "Okay, I'm gonna post it."
Yeah, exactly.
So Harlow Apparel is now a couple of years old. Looks like it's going super well. Um, when I went in the parks in Quebec this season, there was a lot of Harlow snow pants.
Yeah.
What's the vision for the future of the brand? Are you like thinking ahead of yourself, or you're just going one season at a time? Do you have some ambitions with it?
No, right now a lot is one season at a time, kinda.
Mm-hmm.
And then also like I just want to give a big shout out to Oscar, my brother, who's like the main brain of the whole company, and he before or like up until this point has done like all the designing, all the shipment, all the websites, and he's done like everything. So it's like big thanks to him. So I've been like able to like do it, and like he sends over like obviously like, do you think this is nice, should we do stuff like this, but
Mm-hmm.
he's like been having the controls and like making all the decisions and making everything happen. But yeah, I hope to like now maybe that I'm gonna have a little bit more time to get like even more involved with it, so we can work together, help him a little bit more.
Yeah.
But just mainly season by season, try organically grow it bigger,
Mm-hmm.
and not like just do like something like that's like so sporadical that would like, because I always think that's like what hurts people is when they want so big change all of a sudden, and like want to branch out too much to like reach too big of a audience, or like an audience that they haven't touched before.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the goal is to like stay true to what we believe in and what we like, but just grow that bigger and bigger. Like
Mm-hmm.
try and make the every collection a little bit bigger, have a little bit uh, more quantities of each product, and just like help other skiers, put them on the team, help them grow their career, help them with video projects, help them with managing anything, and just like show them the ropes, kind of like how like Tanner and other people paved the road for me, and like
Mm-hmm.
help me a lot. So I just want to be able to do that back to other kids and other skiers.
He created Armada that became a big part of your career, and now you're creating Harlow that'll eventually help out someone in the future or even now.
Hopefully, yeah,
Yeah,
that would be the dream.
that's the circle, full circle.
Yeah,
That,
exactly.
that's dope.
But again, it's like the coolest experience ever, an adventure that I've been on. Because like yeah, me and my brother, we never done anything like it, and never really like talked about doing it. But I guess we like when we were young, we would make like our own tees and stuff, and like we would make skateboard movies, and our brand was like the sponsoring sponsor for the skate movie or whatever. But so we like it was always within us to like do something like it, but it was never like we sat down and like, yeah, let's make Harlow apparel. It like came so organically and natural, and then I think it has like grown so in a nice pace where it wasn't like investors came in and like let's make it the super brand or whatever,
Yeah.
like anything like that.
It's been super organic, and it really shows with it's been super original in terms of, let's say, business wise in comparison to what's been done right now by other brands. Like
Yeah,
it really stands out, but it's also really true to Henrik.
yeah,
Like we see you wearing it, or we just see it, and as you said beforehand about selling out, quote unquote, or going with a brand just for the money, we can see that it's stuff that you would wear and that you would want to wear,
yeah.
and then yeah, it's just it all feels natural.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome to hear because that is the goal, of course, and like that's how I want to grow it. And again, like just the like love and support and the way I felt like I have contributed to the industry has been like way better than any paycheck I've ever received from any other sponsors.
And I was telling that also to Phil, that it seems, because you and Phil were without clothing sponsors for a while, and it didn't feel right.
No,
Like you understand the reasoning, and you guys are not finding something that fits your skiing, and that's all good, and that's your decision. But you guys should be with a outerwear sponsor or your own brand in your case. But anyways, it's cool that you're repping something that you're down with now.
yeah, yeah, it's so fun and with the freedom too, and like don't have to go through anybody higher than me and my brother, or ask myself and my brother kind of to make decisions.
Yeah.
It's like so fun, and we have like a super good relation together with everybody in the team too, so we like discuss all about the products, what colorways and everything like that. I think it's like it's so fun. I enjoy it so much, and I hope we can keep growing it. And yeah, maybe even get Phil on the team too at some point, hopefully. Nah, that would be a dream for sure. But yeah,
Yeah, being the official clothing sponsor of Sweden for the next Olympics.
yeah.
Everyone's gonna be full baggy.
It actually, I talked about it with Niklas, the coach, and
Yeah.
he asked a little bit to the Olympic Committee general, or I don't know, like how to say it, what his position is called in English, but and he asked a little bit like how much it would cost to like get only like the, because we have like this Olympics we had Uniqlo, and the one before that was H&M.
Yeah.
But then in like some sports you can have specific outerwear only for the competition outfits.
Okay.
And yeah, he talked a little bit to that guy because out of the Swedish team, like almost everybody except Jesper rides with Harlow Apparel right now.
Damn.
Whereas like me, Oliver, Hugo, and like even the younger kids, like a lot of them, Isaac and Melvin, Axel, they all rep the Harlow Apparel. So it'd be so cool to just like, since it's a Swedish brand for the
Hmm.
Swedish outerwear, and it's like a
Yeah.
way to like contribute and like build a culture. So that's definitely,
And did you get an idea of the number? Like, is it
it's not as insane as you would think.
okay?
I don't remember exactly how much it was, but I remember like, I maybe in 4 years we can we can do something like that. Yeah.
That would be insane.
But yeah, that would be definitely a dream to like go to Olympics and feeling as comfortable as I am out in the park and slopes normally.
Yeah, I think that was funny when in Sochi we saw you with the Swedish clothings. We saw that you wanted to have it big, and it didn't. If I remember correctly, it didn't really seem like the patterns, or it was all built to fit necessarily well, being baggy. But you made it your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it's like worked out, and I like in Pyeongchang and going into this Olympics, I had to bring my pants to a seamstress.
Yeah. So yes, to
So,
sew it.
so yeah,
Yeah.
and she extended the pants a little bit extra, but
That's dope.
yeah, it's like always a little bit different when because you exactly what you say, like it's like made for a certain fit, and
Hmm.
then I like add some extra centimeters, and it makes them at least like so I'm comfortable in them, but it's different when the pants is like made to be baggy
Yeah.
rather than just extending them.
Yeah. There was an odd time when we were young that it was like that. For a while, brands started making clothing that was made to be baggy, but I think I remember Phil in the early days with Orage used to sew a second part at the bottom
Yeah,
of tissue just so it would be taller.
yeah,
And then Orage made those hoodies at some point. Maybe I'm remembering wrong, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I remember that too. And same with like Solomon too. Solomon outerwear was kind of crazy because they had the G suit and
Yeah.
then the Magic suits,
Yeah.
which were both like really nice or like pretty nice. And then the next year, their jackets came out and it was like regular size fit basically. And
Hmm.
all the riders, like me, Alexi Gadbou, and a bunch of guys that were on Solomon, we all like extended. So we got like an extra jacket and yeah, extended the middle part. And then when I think when people bought them after, they were like, "What?" Like it was just not the right way
Damn.
because the people wanted big too, and then they're like, "This, how is it so big for all these other riders?" And I remember,
Yeah. And I think that that's a, as I was saying, the way your apparel looks comes naturally, but I think it's also a really good move business wise because there's not many brands right now that are fulfilling that need that people want to dress in that way. So
yeah,
you have really kind of that whole area that's open to you.
yeah, totally, and exactly like I think it's so pure and real too, because it's not trying to feed or fit in with what's trendy. Because maybe it is right now. It's definitely going towards a bit baggier and bigger clothes again. I
Hmm.
feel like with like just people on the street to skateboarding to skiing, snowboarding, definitely like a baggier fit is coming back.
Yeah.
And I think people recognize that it's not because of that trend that we make baggy stuff. It's like I have never not wore the baggy stuff. So even like when it was trendy to have like tight pants,
Hmm.
I had baggy pants, and that's like, and we just created what I have been wearing and like what I'm have experienced and like learned like what like how a baggy pants should be looking and how it should be fitting. So we like yeah had a lot of that as well to go in with.
That's dope. To close it off, I have some questions from people on Patreon. On
Sick.
Patreon,
Yeah.
so I'll ask you a couple ones from the people.
Cool.
There's Raf Diaz who asks, in your mind, what are the good person, crews, or companies right now that are good for the sport?
I think always Armada had a special place in skiing and has always been supporting skiers in the right way and always had a cool team, good products. So I see that too. Uh, for sure as well. Like I'm super happy with yeah brands like for sure like not to be biased or whatever, but like the way we are the whole movement with Harlow apparel, like how all the other guys are so involved as well. I think that is like helping a lot in skiing and like showing that like you can get part of a team and a company like that as well. Like Capiche too, what Ferdinand is doing
Hmm.
is good, super nice to see. More rider owned brands the better, I think, and I always see their impact more than the others.
Can I plug in something?
Yeah.
We need some more rider events.
Yes.
I
100%.
want to see the B&E back.
Yes. 100%.
or anything of that matter. But it's so cool when we saw like a Wallish Israel Jam this year and
Yes,
events like that.
I agree so much too. And it's crazy too. It's so needed. And it's definitely like me and Phil, we were together in Kleppen
Hmm.
finally after a couple years and had super good vibe. And like, yeah, it's always good. But yeah, after some time off, it was like super, super nice to get together again. And we definitely talked about the B&E Invitational. And yeah, rider owned event, rider owned brands,
Yeah,
things that are made for the riders is just is the illest. And it's kind of crazy for me too. Like I'm realizing it even more now that have decided to like not be with the Swedish team for this coming season. So I'm not doing any World Cups probably.
hmm,
And there is so few events these days that is not
yeah, exactly.
World Cups or Euro Cups or Nord Am or whatever they call. Like all the like independent event are all gone.
Yeah,
And it's so sad because that's like those are the illest.
yeah,
That's like what when they follow like the format and everything according to the riders, where it's like made for the riders to be happy and performing the best, basically.
yeah. Everything has been centralized to FIS, and
Yeah,
that's a bummer that I was telling to kids in Quebec, where when I grew up, when like Belmar was young and all that generation, even Phil when he was younger, there was a way when to be still an amateur staying in Quebec and make good money because there was comps all season round, like independent comps.
yeah,
But nowadays, it all went back to, well, instead of doing our independent comp at a certain resort, it'll just be a FIS related events to get your points to eventually go into NORAMs and then go to. So
yeah,
that's kind of the downside of it all. So
for
whenever you
sure.
guys can make it happen, it's cool. It
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I think too, like super unfortunate that, and like nothing against obviously like FIS and all that too, because they're doing their stuff, but
yeah,
it sucks that all the others stopped because of FIS and stuff. So it's like maybe not even like FIS problem. I guess it's like the other guys that stopped is that's their problem. And in our case too, with like B&E, the reason why we stopped was just because I did more comps and like was like more on a competition schedule while Phil did more filming by himself or more time in Quebec. So we didn't spend as much time together. And then it wasn't like that, like we didn't have as much control of the event. And like since we weren't together, we couldn't plan together. And we didn't want to do an event that is not B&E. So that's why now hopefully we're going to be able to spend a little bit more time together and yeah, have time to like make it a B&E event, like
yeah.
fully B&E.
Or even like the few slush tournaments that were in Andorra almost felt like a Henrik Invitational, where it was like your home turf and everybody just riding and chilling there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's and I talked to the guys here in Andorra as well, and I think we're gonna do some other stuff too, just on the side, because definitely want to like keep the competition scene live and make it like fun and ill,
hmm,
and for exactly what you say, like give the opportunity to people that aren't necessarily part of a federation or a ski team or that doesn't even really want to compete but just like are good enough to like go for 2 days over to this resort and like if they do good they get a little bit of money or some kind of support.
yeah. And even I don't know if you watched Super Unknown this year.
I watched the finals,
Yeah,
like the episodes from Mammoth, but
yeah.
I didn't really see the entries.
So well, I was just about to say that the kid that won, Matt Duff, he's someone I filmed with all season long in the street, and
Sick.
he's insane,
Yeah,
next level kid. And I was stoked for him to get that opportunity because he's someone I think who stopped. He was on the NORAM circuit and stuff like that,
right.
and stopped. So I felt bad for him because if you stop that route, you're kind of left with not much opportunities, it seemed.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he asked me to do a super unknown for him, I was like, "Let's go! Yeah, you're gonna have your shot there."
Hell
So
yeah.
whenever there's those events, it's always cool for these kids, especially like super unknown these days. It's all people that are not really in the comp circuit and that get a big visibility that they would never have otherwise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so important too. And yeah, I think it's so needed in skiing right now to like have events that are a little bit different. That are, yeah, is gonna grab a new group of people too, even, and like get more people hyped. Because even like when you go to World Cups or events like this these days, it's like except for the big airs, but like slopestyle, there's like maybe 5 to 10 people standing on the side of the course, and then
Yeah, and people
like,
are not really watching them.
yeah, it's like so, maybe not old fashioned, but it's like not new. And I think it's wrong of like, or yeah, sponsors and stuff think that like people on the World Cup that do well, that is like the most influential skier. But I don't think so. I think you don't have to win necessarily the biggest event to be a influencer or selling product of
Hmm.
what you're riding in. But
Yeah, a great example that I have in mind is Max Mofat, where I think his Instagram posts are way more influential. Not thinking about social media necessarily, but the crazy videos he posts are way more influential to me than a certain run he might do in Switzerland. Like,
totally, exactly. And that's like what I had a big conversation together with my friend Isaac Simon,
mhm,
East Panda, who is like that. Like he's like pretty motivated. He wants to compete, but he's also like, I think like he's like so unique, and like his skiing outside of competing competition is like more impactful. That like people is for sure gonna be stoked to see a run from him, but the stuff that he just do, if you make an edit or like a
mhm,
Instagram thing or like stuff like that, that's like what separates him and like showcases him.
yeah.
It's not even possible to like show that in a slopestyle run.
Hmm. And as you said before, with the value of movie segments versus just social media, like
Yeah,
I was aware of Valentin Morel
yeah,
because of social media,
yeah.
but I really started loving his skiing, or I really enjoyed him because of his segment in your movie.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna forward that message.
And plus, well, you won me at Booba. First off, when Booba
Yeah.
starts playing, I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's see what.
Nouvelle école.
Yeah, dude, I grew up listening to that song, so you had me there. But yeah,
Yeah,
that was dope.
yeah. No, I agree too, and I said that to him too so much. Like this like segment showcase so much, like it shows your who you are as a skier, and it like showcases way more than you have been able to show in like all these competitions.
Yeah, and it was super well rounded. Some really dope BC booter
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And it was like his first season ever like filming. I think like we went to Stockholm for like 10 days, or not even, like 8 days maybe,
Mm.
and it was his first time ever in the street, and he had never really shot in the backcountry before either. But he's so good. And it was, I think that segment like showed to him even more than anything. Like he was like, okay, like all right, like
I
if
can
i
do it.
if i put in the work and time, like this could be something for sure. Yeah, like what I want to, exactly what we were saying before, like give the opportunity and like show to these guys that like, yo, if we put in time and work and make something special, it's gonna, yeah,
It's
it's
gonna
gonna,
pay off.
exactly.
Yeah, that's dope. And then another question from Patreon. Will Cameron asks, "What's your favorite movie and favorite segment?"
Ski movie and ski segment.
Yeah,
Ay, ay, ay.
it's always a hard question in between like the old days and now, but
Yeah, like propaganda is always gonna have a special feeling for me, because that was like the first international ski movie that I owned.
mhm,
And that, and then I got royalty, I got Happy Days the next year. And like, but like propaganda was like the introduction to like ski movie that was like, did it for me like crazy. Because we had Swedish ski movies before that I was watching, but then it was like two or three park segments, and the rest was maybe big mountain, big lines. And I was not so attracted to that type of skiing at the time. I was like more like so fresh and like was so into this like park terrain park, and like all the whole freestyle movement.
Yeah.
And then when propaganda came out and I got it, I was like, what? So I would maybe say propaganda just because of that, like how big of an impact that movie had to me. And favorite segment, why? I always think about it like when I hear all the podcasts with people that get these questions, and it's so easy for me when I hear it. But now
When you're
when
on
I
the
say
spot,
it, yeah,
well, it can be multiple ones,
yeah,
like your top three, top five.
like Tanner, 1242, Mikhail Deshno, Exact Science, Travis Heed, Wicked, like Corey Vaniller, and probably Shanghai Six and Long Story Short.
Yeah,
But yeah, so many, so many. It's crazy. But yeah, like those are some.
sounds good. And
Liam
then,
Downey, Long Story Short. Yeah, there's like so many to mention. And then like from the newer generation, there's like wow, like all the
mhm.
Phils and the Wallish, Clayton. Yeah, goes on Sammy. All. It's too many to mention. But yeah, those are some.
And then on my end, one of my tops recently, I mentioned to you before, but I got to say it, the Endora segment from the regiment. That's a feel good segment.
Yeah, thank you so much. That means a lot. That I'm so happy that you liked it, because it was a very special time for me too, and I enjoyed it so much. And hopefully, we'll get to do it again, maybe even next spring if we get a good snow year here in Andorra. I would love to do one more of those, where it's like basically just like going on hikes every day by just having the skis on the backpack. So like yeah, it was obviously like we went to like the snow spots and like finding features, but it was like also like just being outside
Yeah.
in the summertime and just enjoying like hiking in the mountains. Like, yeah,
But it looked like it was a lot of work going in, and that's something that made me enjoy it. I think is I like the music and I like the tricks and all of that, but you could see that there was work going into it. And every time I watch it with someone, I'm like, yo, look at that! It's the summer, and he has a pad there, and like you realize there's 1 or 2 or 3 days of shoveling involved just for that shot, and there's
yeah,
25 shots.
yeah.
So that's always a bonus.
And we were on a crazy roll too. Like the momentum was so good.
And who were you with? Were you like you were with Emil? I think.
Emil Grane was filming it. Emil Bergeron, he came out for a few weeks. Phil was out here too, but unfortunately got hurt on the very first spot, so he wasn't able to ski really after that. And then Noah Albaladejo was with us. He didn't ski too much because it was like a year after he had tore his ACL, so he was like still taking it easy. So, but he was always out with us, like hiking around and like helping shaping, and
Hmm.
he was being there for the vibe. And then my very good friend Morten Grape from Sweden was out here for most of it.
Cool.
That was the squad.
And then Will Cameron again asked a cool suggestion to do, which is a trick association. Like I tell you a trick, and you tell me like that trick particularly. Who comes to mind when you think of that trick?
Okay.
So and I'll try some random stuff, but let's say cork seven blunt. Who do you think when I tell you cork seven blunt?
A Candide or a Mikel. Maybe
Yeah.
Mikel is a bit more tindy, but
Hmm.
yeah, Candide, I would say. Corksa Blunt, there is so many good ones. Parker White has like one of the best one. Phil has a super nice, more upright, uncrossed. But yeah, if Deshno's like kind of tindy counts, Deshno has the best one.
What about cork three? Just a big laid out cork three.
CR Johnson, because of his Happy Days segment. That was like the first time I was like, yo, skiers can do cork threes. And he had so many cork threes, he even had a right cork three in there. So for sure, C.R. Johnson. But then the year after, Tanner, 1242, the like super slow motion one, where he does the and then land and goes to the flat rail and front six. Those, that's a good cork three too.
Then let's say switch dub 9.
Switched up 9. B Paul.
Oh, yeah.
B Paul had super nice. Phil, super nice.
Yeah,
Many
Phil
super
also.
nice.
But yeah, B Paul was so good. I was filming with him when he did all those dubs that summer. And I
Yeah,
was like, is dub 10 tail? I think that's one of my favorite dubs ever.
yeah,
B Paul, man.
yeah. B Paul, one of a kind as well.
Best style ever.
Yeah,
Sounds good. Well, thanks a lot for coming on the pod, man.
of
Really
course.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. So stoked to be a part of it. Like I said before, I listen to it a lot of time, and I get super inspired by hearing all the stories from all these fantastic legends.
It's mostly people you know, right?
Yeah, a lot of people has been people I know, but still like some stuff that I maybe haven't talked to them about, or it's just fun to hear it like on a platform like this. So I definitely honored to have the chance to speak a little bit of my story as well.
Well, thanks, man. It's an honor for me. Definitely, as I said, I've been a big fan for your whole career, so it's always good to chat. And yeah, I've had that comment also of people listening to episodes of people they know and like learning stuff that they didn't know.
Yeah,
Was there something in there like for Phil or um, maybe other people that you were like, oh, okay, I didn't know that.
I thought the Cam Riley one was like super interesting and so fun to hear like his like from like filming for the lack for better and like all these like extra stories about yeah the dub kink rail in Breck and stuff like that I maybe have talked to him about as well, but like yeah, I thought that was super nice, as well as Brady's, of course. All of them are great.
I loved when Phil talked about your relationship with him, and he mentioned that at some point he felt like he was kind of how can I say that in English? He felt like you were kind of out skiing him, like skiing better than him. And I was like, holy shit, okay, well, I didn't see it that way. Like in my mind, when I saw the two of you, you were all not equal, but different in your own rights and great. And I was like, okay, that's insane to know that that's how he felt.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I
The
think too, because
education of style days.
I always thought the opposite,
Well, that's something I thought might possible. Like maybe it was the other way around for Henrik.
or maybe not like out skied or whatever, but I always I know when I'm going into making an edit, making a movie or anything that Phil is involved in, or if we're doing a segment together, for sure I have to like come correct.
Yeah,
Because I know he is gonna be the illest ever, so I at least want to be the illest that I can be.
yeah.
And it's not for me, it's never gonna match his skill or style level, but at least I gotta go in and like try my best. Otherwise, I'm gonna be
Well, that's what's cool about you too is that you're similar enough that you fit well in the video, but you're so different that you complement each other.
yes, sir. Thank you.
If you go to a spot, you won't do the same trick. You both have
No,
your own way of approaching it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it always been like super easy and natural with that, like where it's like don't even really have to talk about it. It just is like that. Like he thinks of something and I think of a different thing. And then
Mm.
of course we sometimes talk about it too to like help each other build it so it fits for his trick and fit for my trick or vice versa. Yeah.
Mm. That would be insane if you bring him on the next Harlow movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be so sick. I think he has like contract with Armada Clothing for another 4 years or something.
Mm.
But maybe I'm gonna have to make him make it a deal so he can
Yeah.
still rock maybe Armada Clothing and be in the Halagang movie or something. But we definitely gonna get together. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for coming on, Henrik. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So this is it for episode 33 with Henrik Harlaut. It was really great having such a legend on the podcast. Big thanks to this episode's sponsors, Access Board Shop, Planks Clothing, and Adrenaline Urbaine. Peace.